the other things we have to do with this unit are working with decimals. For today and probably tomorrow, we're going to get some practice with adding, subtracting, and multiplying to the decimals. We'll add in the dividing next week. But for today, adding, subtracting, multiplying. All right, so when you add, first thing you have to do every time, or subtract, add or subtract, you have to line up the numbers based on their decimals. So line up the numbers based on their decimals. You have to include any zeros or any place values that might be there, but you do have to line up the decimals. Sorry, Jacob. And then you just add or subtract based on place value. All right. So first thing always, line up the decimal. Then you might have to fill in some blanks. So if I've got 13.3 plus 4.85, when I line up the decimals, that is what it's going to look like. All right. So if you ever have like a horizontal problem, you got to rewrite it vertically, okay, to work it out. Once it's lined up, you can fill in zeros for the place values if that's helpful to you. It's not 100% necessary, but it can be helpful. And then you just do your math. In this case, adding, you add exactly like you would otherwise. And the decimal comes straight down. Any questions on that one? So line up the decimals, fill in any zeros for place values if needed, and then just add with the decimal coming straight down. All right, y'all try number 2 there. It's the exact same problem? Oh, man. Well, it's not on the board. Do this one. Chastity, what do you get? 20.28 is correct. So we line up our decimals. 17.08, 3.2. So we can fill in zeros, then you're just adding. 8 plus 0, 0 plus 2, decimal comes straight down. 7 plus 3 is 10. 1 and 1, we got 20.28. Okay, any questions on that? This should be stuff you're hopefully pretty familiar with from elementary school, right? All right, so 3 and 4 have subtracting. So subtracting works the exact same way. 9.07, 3.6. We line up decimals. We can fill in place values. 7 minus 0 is 7. One of the things I've been seeing 6th graders making big mistakes on are things like this. That is not 6 for my next place value here. All right? Whenever the bottom number or the bottom place value is larger, you're going to have to borrow. We change that to 8, we change that to 10. 10 minus 6 is 4. Decimal straight down. 8 minus 3 is 5. Okay? Just make sure borrow correctly on those. All right, y'all try number 4. 12.45 minus 6.8. Brian, what'd you get? 5.65 is going to be correct. So we got our 0. 5 minus 0 is 5. We borrow. 14 minus 8 is 6. Decimal comes straight down. We got borrow. Make that 11. 11 minus 6 is 5. And that would be it. Any questions on that? As I said, adding and subtracting shouldn't be too bad. You did it in elementary school. You should be pretty familiar with it. As long as you set it up correctly to start with by lining up the decimal, it shouldn't be a problem. All right, so multiplying. Again, you should be familiar with this from elementary school, but it is a little bit just more complicated. What you're doing when you multiply with decimals, you want to multiply the digits as usual. You ignore the decimal. You pretend like the decimal ain't even there. There's no reason you have to line them up. Most of y'all probably set it up vertically anyhow, but so that doesn't matter one way or the other, but you don't have to line up the decimals. And you definitely don't want to add zeros when you're multiplying. If you add in zeros while you're multiplying, it's just going to give you more steps and more chances to make a mistake, okay? Then the product or your answer will have the same number of digits to the right of the decimal as the two numbers you are multiplying combined. All right, so basically after you multiply, you look at your problem, you count up the number of digits to the right of the decimal, and your answer has to have the same number of digits to the right. It's not you bring the decimal straight down like you do with adding and subtracting. All right, so if we look, if I've got 4.8 times 2.3, in this case, just how it works, it does line up the decimals. But that is not a necessary step. We're going to multiply this just like I would for 48 times 23. So 3 times 8 is 24. 3 times 4 is 12, plus the 2 makes 14. We put a placeholder. 2 times 8 is 16. 2 times 4 is 8, plus the 1, 9. Then we add them up. Once we got that, we've got I've got 1,104. That's what 48 times 23 would be. We look at our problem. The problem has one digit to the right there, one digit to the right there. My answer has to then have two digits to the right, same as the problem. So 1, 2, that means my decimal goes there. I get 11.04. Any questions on that one? I said it's just a little bit trickier just because you got to keep track of where the decimal goes and you got to count it out sometimes. But it shouldn't be too bad. Y'all try that one. 1.2 times 0.7. Ford, what'd you get? 0.84 is correct. All right, first thing, what do you notice about how I wrote the problem? Yeah, I didn't put this 0 in my problem. Is that 0 necessary? No. Zeros to the left of the decimal for doing the actual math aren't necessary, and multiplying by that extra zero is just going to make things more likely to cause a problem, okay? So you don't need that one. And then basically I'm doing 12 times 7. 7 times 2 is 14. 7 times 1 is 7 plus the 1. 12 times 7 would be 84. But we got 1, 2 digits. So 1, 2 digits. Decimal goes there. Now odds are good. Answer choice, if it's multiple choice, they'll put that 0 back at the beginning. But if it's one where you have to type it in, that wouldn't be necessary either. Okay? Any questions on that? Like I said, multiplying's not horrible either. Y'all, if you did well with elementary school math, shouldn't have too big of a problem. All right, let's try this one then. Sarah went shopping. She bought 6 oranges at 25 cents each, 2 apples at 40 cents each, and 3 plums at 18 cents each. She gave the cashier $5. How much will Sarah receive from the $5? We got a few steps here. Judah, what'd you get? $2.16 is correct. All right, so we got steps on this one, don't we? Which makes it kind of like the types of questions you could see on a test, you could see on an EOG. You're gonna have to do a few things. So we got 6 oranges at 25 cents each. You could add up 25 cents multiple times, or you can just multiply by 6. Either one works. Also, 25 cents is quarters. A lot of y'all should know 6 quarters. How much is 6 quarters? $1.50. That can be helpful too. You could multiply it out or work it out. That would work also. 2 apples, 40 cents each. You could do 40 cents times 2, or you could just add up the 40 cents twice. Either way, just about as easy. Then we got 3 plums for 18 cents. Again, you could add up 18, 18, 18, or you can multiply 2 digits, so we got 54 cents. All right, so now what do I need to do? Add, we got to figure out their total. Now, you also have the option of, you could start at the $5 and subtract each one of those, and subtract $1.50, subtract 80 cents, subtract 54 cents. To me, that's making it more likely for you to make mistakes. okay? I generally see more mistakes with subtraction than addition, so it's probably better just to add those up. So if we have $1.50, 80 cents, 54 cents, I can add all those up together as long as I line up the decimals. So we got 4, decimal comes down, I got $2.84. Now what do I need to do? Subtract. So when we're subtracting, in this case, in the problem, they give me 5.00. Would it have to do that? No. To work it out, you have to do that. But the problem itself could have just had the 5, right? So if the problem just had the 5, you got to make sure to fill in those zeros on it, okay? And you're subtracting the 284. You got to borrow from all the way over there. That becomes a 4. This one briefly becomes a 10, then goes to 9, and that one becomes 10. So 10 minus 4, we got 6. 9 minus 8 is 1. Decimal straight down. 4 minus 2, 2. And we get the $2.16 that Judah said. Any questions on that one? No? But look, 1 step, 2 step, 3 step, 4 step, 5 steps. It is a 5-step problem. It does take a minute. Any one step tough though? No. So just be careful with it.